What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got our Week 11 NFL game picks, outright versus the spread, along with our locks of the week, so make sure to tune in. If you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all, but with that being said, let's get right into it. And before looking at our breakdowns, I do want to highlight OddsJam once again because it continues to be the place that I use for all of my NFL betting research. And honestly, whether it's the NFL or really any other sport out there as well, this is your one-stop shop for everything betting related. From live line shopping to getting the best odds out there to maximize your profits, OddsJam is that place. And whether you're a beginner or an expert, take advantage of OddsJam's betting tools, like their positive EV tool, which shows you line discrepancies so you know you're getting the best odds, essentially getting a mathematical edge and guaranteed money in the long run, or their arbitrage tool, which gives you equal and opposite bets for a risk-free return. Link in the description, so make sure to check out OddsJam there. But with that being said, let's look at these games. And we kick it off on Sunday with the Chicago Bears at the Atlanta Falcons. So here, the Falcons are favored at home at -2.5. Makes sense from that perspective, but I do think the Chicago Bears right now are the little bit more consistent offensive team. They barely lose last week versus the Detroit Lions. 1 point loss, that's as close as it gets. I do think right now that they're on a little bit of a better trajectory. In terms of offensive weapons, sure, the Falcons probably have the Chicago Bears beat with Kyle Pitts and, with Drake London, guys like that, but they just aren't utilizing those weapons to the extent that they should be. Marcus Mariota cannot facilitate their success. Defensively, they have issues. To me, that translates to likely a Chicago Bears road victory here. And yes, I understand that the Bears offensively have issues passing the football, but Justin Fields, even with 15 completions in a game, can do enough things with his legs, a la like an early Lamar Jackson type of guy, that's going to open things up for the Bears offense. Khalil Herbert is hurt on IR at the running back position, but the Bears still have David Montgomery, so they should be fine. With guys like Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, they're not going to be huge X factors, but they will still be part of this passing attack. Defensively, both these teams, nothing special, but I'm going to go with the team that I think has the better quarterback, and that's tougher to game plan for. To me, that's Justin Fields, that's the Chicago Bears, which means I'm taking them outright. Since they're underdogs, I'm also taking them on the spread. Then we go to the Carolina Panthers at the Baltimore Ravens. So a couple things here. For the Panthers, it's going to be Baker Mayfield under center, injury at the quarterback position. Then the Baltimore Ravens, they could have their own injury situation here because Lamar Jackson, he's questionable with an illness, is expected to play for what it's worth, but there's other injuries here. Mark Andrews, game time decision, so could be Isaiah Likely at the tight end spot. He's still talented enough to get it done, but the Ravens offensively, they are, really in a bad spot right now. They've already been without Rashad Bateman. That's going to be the case all year long. I think this game could be closer than people anticipate. I do think that the Ravens at home are the smart pick. Lamar Jackson over really any quarterback that the Panthers can put out there. And, we've seen what this Panthers offense looks like with Baker Mayfield under center. There's going to be a lot of batted passes. There's going to be probably a lot of mistakes and a lot of overthrown balls. So it's not like I have confidence in this team. And to me, the biggest worry is that, if they can't get the rushing attack going with Deonta Foreman, then it's going to get really, really bad and a type of snowball effect. But we'll see. Either way, though, to me, I am going with the Baltimore Ravens outright for sure. On the spread, though, big number. Panthers getting +13. The Ravens banged up. I'm going to actually go with the Carolina Panthers to keep this game close. Look, Baker Mayfield knows the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe that's a little bit of an advantage. I will take the Panthers on the spread. Then going to the Cleveland Browns at the Buffalo Bills. So, look, first I should say, assuming this game happens, obviously that's because of the insane snow in Buffalo. that game gets shifted from Buffalo to Detroit. So basically a wash in terms of home field advantage. But the assumption is that everyone is going to make it there and that they're going to play this game, in which case I'm riding with the Buffalo Bills. Look, they're coming off a really bad loss, no question about it. But the Buffalo Bills are the better team overall. They've got the better quarterback. They have got the better weapons. Sure, the Cleveland Browns have got the better running backs, but you can't just rely on that versus this Buffalo Bills team. The Bills have also got the better defense. It's going to be a long day, I think, for the Cleveland Browns. I think that you're going to have to get Jacoby Brissett to beat you through the air, which just isn't the way the Cleveland Browns are set up to win football games. You know, maybe if it was Deshaun Watson under center, which FYI, that's going to be coming up soon. But right now, with this iteration of this Cleveland Browns offense, sure, they've got the weapons. I just don't think Brissett can hang with Josh Allen. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. I don't think the spread is all that high at -7.5. I'm going to take the Bills there as well. Then Washington at the Houston Texans. I think this is going to be one of the easier games to predict. Sure, Washington isn't that elite of a team, but they get these, decent victories here and there. I mean, they just knocked off the undefeated Eagles for what that's worth. So kudos to them. I'm going with Washington to win this game. I think, the Houston Texans are one of the worst teams in the NFL, projected to be picking first overall. And I don't think all of a sudden they're going to get this victory versus Washington. I'm a little bit surprised at how low the spread is. Houston getting +3.5. I would have expected +6 almost. But look, Heineke has done a good job. I think that can continue here versus the Houston Texans, one of the worst run defensive teams in the NFL, which means Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, probably Heineke is not going to have to do all that much, frankly. And that's the formula for success. I think Davis Mills is going to struggle versus really any defense, so Washington included. Give me the Washington Commanders to go into Houston and get this victory. I like them outright. I like them on the spread. That 3.5 number, not that huge to cover. Then we go to the Philadelphia Eagles at the Indianapolis Colts. Speaking of teams that are coming off bad losses, the Eagles versus Washington last week, but I mean, it's a divisional game. You kind of get it. Makes sense. I think they bounce back here versus the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, the Colts got that first victory with Jeff Saturday last week. After they beat the Raiders, Matt Ryan back under center. That was obviously the big news there and kind of facilitated that victory. And I do think this offense is better with Matt Ryan under center, but I don't think it's going to fare as well versus the Philadelphia Eagles, who were pissed off coming off that first loss. I expect big games from the Philadelphia Eagles offensively and defensively. Give me the Eagles to win this game. We saw it with Matt Ryan before when he was under center. He had very inconsistent games. For every one pretty good game that he'd have two bad ones. I don't think that's all of a sudden going to disappear. Sure, you've got Jonathan Taylor, but I don't think that's going to be enough to keep pace with the Eagles. Give me Philadelphia here in a bounce back effort on the ground, through the air, defensively to get the victory. I like the Eagles outright. On the spread, again, I feel like it's not that big of a number. The Colts really have had issues all season long, regardless of the quarterback situation. In losses, I'm going to take the Eagles on the spread as well. Then the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. These two teams played not too long ago, and the Patriots, got a pretty comfortable victory. Honestly, I think that's going to be the same case here. Zach Wilson, simply put, playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. The victories that the Jets have gotten have not been because of him. They have been because the other teams have either played poorly or because the Jets have been able to do enough defensively and just, in other aspects of the game. So I am not really all that scared by the New York Jets. This game is in New England. I think it's going to be a huge, huge performance from guys like Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris. And again, the great thing for the Patriots here, they don't have to do all that much offensively with Mac Jones. So the defense, the two running backs, and that should be enough to get you the victory here. I like the New England Patriots to win this game, similar to the last time they played. The spread, again, not all that huge. I'm going to roll with it like I did last time, -3.5. I think the Patriots can cover that number. Then Rams versus the Saints. So Jameis Winston still not starting. It's still the Andy Dalton show. Maybe this might be the last week, though. However, the LA Rams extremely banged up. The offensive line is beat up to hell. Cooper Kupp obviously going on IR is a huge, huge loss. I mean, without Cooper Kupp, you can argue that this Rams offense is toast. So it's going to be really tough. Matthew Stafford is expected to return, so at least that's good. But I have serious worries about the Rams for the rest of the season. And the good news is I don't have all that much faith in the Saints as of late. We'll see if they can turn it around here. But I think the LA Rams defensively can, cause enough problems for Andy Dalton. I think this could be a somewhat lower scoring type of game. I'm going to go with the LA Rams on the road, actually, as crazy as that sounds. Yes, I know they have no Cooper Kupp, but the New Orleans Saints, look, they've been avoiding what has worked best for them in their previous victories. That's getting Alvin Kamara as that focal point of that offense. He just hasn't been getting the catches. He hasn't been getting, the utilization that he needs. And that's kind of hurt this entire offense. We'll see if that's switched in terms of game plans this week, but also just don't have all that much confidence in Andy Dalton. I'm going with the LA Rams here. It's going to be an ugly game, definitely for sure. I'm going to ride with them. I think it's a coin flip of a game. Give me the Rams outright and on the spread since they are underdogs here at +2.5. Afterwards, Detroit Lions at the New York Giants. So again, this is a game where the spread is in favor of the New York Giants. New York, they're going to do what they do best. That's run the football with Saquon Barkley, with Daniel Jones. The Detroit Lions, not all that scary defensively. We've seen that all year long. I do think they have the better overall offensive weapons, but that New York Giants defense is one that is underrated and I think can cause issues for let's be honest, inconsistent Jared Goff. So even though you've got Amon-Ra, you've got Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, you're going to need some other pieces as well. Most importantly, you're going to need Jared Goff to play his A game, and that's what it's going to come down to here. I'm going to go with probably the New York Giants, slight favorite here in my eyes. I think that they just have the better formula in this game. I don't think that Detroit Lions defense is going to put up that much of a resistance. I'm going to say the Giants kind of wear out the Lions as this game progresses. I'll take them outright being at home as well. However, on the spread, I could see this game being close. And the losses they've had, the Lions have on average been losing by right around 3 points. If you can get the spread to like +3.5, +4, tease it to that. I like that number. I'd go with the Lions that way. Then Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. So talk about two teams that are absolutely awful, inconsistent, whatever word you want to use. I mean, the Raiders just find all these different ways to lose leads. It's absolutely awful. The Denver Broncos, I mean, we know how bad they have been with Russell Wilson this year. Look, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I don't feel good about it. I know how limited that offense has been. The Raiders, though, absolutely, again, very injured. Devontae Adams, if Devontae Adams doesn't play in this game, which is a possibility, they're already without Hunter Renfrow, already without Darren Waller. I mean, who are they going to use as legitimate pass catchers? That's a very real question here. And I just, even though Derek Carr is probably playing better football than Russell Wilson, I just have serious questions about the Raiders, about the coaching staff there. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I think this is going to be an ugly, probably, on paper should be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to win this game. -2.5, they're favored at home. I could see, hedging your bets here and going with the Raiders on the spread, definitely. But I just think that spread isn't that high enough right now, so I'd probably go with the Denver Broncos there. Afterwards, Dallas Cowboys at the Minnesota Vikings. This should be a really good one. Two very competitive teams in the NFC. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings here, the home team. I do think this one is a coin flip. But in the best sense possible because both these teams very serious Offensively, I mean, the Cowboys, they do get Ezekiel Elliott back. They've got CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Dalton Schultz. They're all doing their thing. The Vikings with Justin Jefferson, with Thielen, with Dalvin Cook, with TJ Hawkinson. As long as we get good Kirk Cousins and good Dak Prescott, this could be one of the highest scoring games of the week. I'm going to go with the home team to get the quote-unquote upset. They're at +1.5. I'm kind of looking at that home field advantage aspect here because I do think on both sides of the football, it's pretty close. So I'm going to ride with the Minnesota Vikings. I will take them outright and on the spread, kind of as my underdog pick of the week. Then Cincinnati at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, weirdly enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the one time they played the Bengals in week 1, that's one of their few victories. I don't think that's going to happen here. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals to get this win. Kenny Pickett, he's not playing well. I'm not saying that he can't be the answer long term, but at least from what we've seen so far, he needs to improve. We can at least say that, right? So I think that Joe Burrow sure, he's without Jamar Chase, but he's still got T. Higgins. He's still got Tyler Boyd. He's still got Joe Mixon. He can get this victory. And I understand it's a divisional game in Pittsburgh, so anything can happen. I will take the Bengals outright, but from that divisional perspective, I'll sprinkle a couple of bucks on the Pittsburgh Steelers on the spread, getting +4. Wouldn't be shocked again if this game is a little bit lower scoring, a little bit closer than people expect. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at least there on the spread, but outright I'm going with the Bengals. Then Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Chargers. Two kind of banged up teams here, but I think this can be a high scoring affair. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they're without Juju Smith. They're without Mecole Hardman. So it's going to be the MVS, Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelce show. But as long as you've got Patrick Mahomes, you're fine. For the LA Chargers, they're at home here. They are getting Mike Williams back, which great news for them. Keenan Allen trending towards playing. So again, good news there. We'll see if he's 100% from that hamstring, which has pretty much prevented him from playing all season up until now. So you've got the weapons to hang in there on paper. As long as, those guys are close to being reliable and Justin Herbert, plays up to his standards, this game, I think the Chargers can hang with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm actually going to take the LA Chargers almost getting a touchdown on the spread. I don't think they win this game, but I think they can keep it competitive, something in the realms of like 30-25, something like that. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs outright. Yes, I know they're banged up, but I just have more faith in them right now offensively. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win, but the LA Chargers on the spread. And then finally, the 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. So a lot of things to keep, a lookout for here, namely for the Arizona Cardinals. For the 49ers, we know what we're going to get. We're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to get George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Brendan Ayuk, decent defensive pieces just because they're so injured defensively. Otherwise, one of the best defenses in the NFL. For the Arizona Cardinals, though, so many injuries. We don't know, first and foremost, is Kyler Murray going to play? He didn't play last week. He might miss this week again. Then DeAndre Hopkins shows up with an injury designation this week. We don't know his status. Marquise Brown was somebody that was said that he can be eligible to return from IR. Still don't know if that's going to happen. So the Arizona Cardinals could potentially be without a lot of key offensive pieces. Look, I'll just keep it at this. If Kyler Murray doesn't play, the 49ers are going to win for sure. And that's the caveat I'll put. If Kyler Murray isn't the quarterback for the Cardinals, the 49ers should be one of your locks of the week. I understand it's a divisional game, but the Cardinals, you saw it. You've seen it before. Without Kyler Murray, it's a tough situation. I don't think they're going to be able to hang with the 49ers. Sure, they got their victory versus the Rams, but the Rams had their backup quarterback last week. I don't think the Rams are in the same really type of stratosphere as the 49ers this year. So I'll take the 49ers here. I think they're just healthier. I think they're the better team. If Kyler Murray plays, though, I will take the Arizona Cardinals on the spread at +8.5. So with that, we wrap up our pick'ems. Now, looking at our locks of the week, though, let's start with the Carolina Panthers versus the Baltimore Ravens. As long as Lamar Jackson plays in this game, the Ravens are the better team. They should win outright. Then Washington at the Houston Texans. The Texans, with good reason, are expected to pick first overall in the 2023 draft. They're playing like one of the worst teams in football, and I think that continues. Give me Washington to beat the Houston Texans. Then Philly versus the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Eagles bounce back this week after their first loss of the year. And the Colts, we know how inconsistent they have been. Give me the Eagles to win that game. Afterwards, New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. I will take the New England Patriots to win this game at home. I think they've got the perfect formula to beat the New York Jets. And honestly, at the end of the day, wouldn't be shocked if it's not all that close. And then Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Bengals get revenge on that week 1 loss. I will take the Cincinnati Bengals outright. And then, like I mentioned previously, if Kyler Murray doesn't play, I really do like the 49ers as a lock outright as well. But with that, we wrap up our Week 11 NFL game picks outright versus the spread along with our locks of the week. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, did you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.